Welcome to episode 96 of Star Wars and Scotch. What? Why are you laughing?
I was fixing my hair and I was like, watch, I'm gonna fix my hair and he's gonna do Welcome to Star Wars and Scotch as I'm fixing my hair.
Just so you know, I didn't even have your camera up, so I did not do that one on purpose. I just naturally gravitate towards annoying you.
Awkward,
on
yeah,
a very
in
minuscule
awkward
level.
situations, good.
Yep, I'm really good at that. But welcome to episode 96 of Star Wars and Scotch. I'm Kevin with my co-host Tim, as always. Tim, how's your week been?
Busy.
I heard a rumor that you're going to be messing around with some other space magic this week.
Oh man, yeah, there's space magic, there's Fortnite, there's merchandise, box a lot of little me's and hats up.
I will say, since Fortnite is the multiverse, we're allowed to talk about Fortnite here.
Sure, Star Wars in there.
I will say that I am very close to my Vader skin. I only have 3 more tiers to unlock and about 20-something levels. So
I'm really proud of you.
I'm getting there, and I got 2 more victory royales since we last spoke. So, but now the SBMM is kicking in, and I'm getting popped like you've been eliminated.
I want you to come play in my lobbies for a little bit.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I like my lobbies. I'm very happy. I feel good. I don't care if it's a bot. I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah, the Star Wars stuff that's in there is really good. That's fun.
I didn't realize I thought they got rid of some of the Star Wars stuff, but I found one of the base camps the other day and got my blaster.
It's the weirdest thing to have someone flying on a Nimbus doing a Kamehameha as someone else has Darth Vader's lightsaber and is throwing it across the map, and then you've got Spider-Man coming through and Wolverine's over there and Superman and Batman are fighting. It's crazy.
They got rid of Daily Bugle though. They put like a pirate area in there.
Yeah, so that's from an earlier season. They're literally just throwing everything at the wall now to see what sticks. It's good.
I kind of miss the Daily Bugle because I like bouncing on the spider webs, but what are you gonna do?
Kevin, I'll talk to John Epic for you.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Epic himself,
Mr.
please.
Epic about how unhappy you are about the Daily Bugle.
If you could have that conversation, it'd be great. Thanks.
I got you.
I'm sure there's a licensing thing there as well. But as always, Tim and I are sipping on delicious King's Coast coffee this morning. It is delicious, and we're coming up on our 5th anniversary celebration at King's Coast. It's very exciting, and there will be some cool things to look out for as we prep for the anniversary. The funny thing is we are already planning. The holidays are like mapped out. I had a conversation with Wayne about 2 days ago about something we're doing in March.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Look at us.
And for you Long Island folks, the thing we're doing in March make you very happy. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, are we going to do the zoo in the parking lot like we talked about?
The zoo? What zoo?
The petting zoo in the parking lot of the roastery.
The 2-way petting zoo?
Two-way petting zoo. What do the animals pet you and you pet them?
Yeah, you pet them, they pet you.
It's the weirdest thing ever.
We're
gonna get sued.
I can't laugh because of my condition. Every time I laugh, I sound like I've smoked 8 packs of Reds.
His condition.
I got fluid in my lungs. They gave me a fucking inhaler, Tim, an inhaler.
Quick. Anytime Kevin laughs,
I can only take it every 4 hours.
You're essentially like 2 steps away from being Darth Vader.
Oh, I didn't think of it that way.
All I have to do is just push you into some lava and cut your limbs off, and there you go.
That's it.
You already have the inhaler.
Yeah.
So you're good. So let's go to Iceland and we'll have a lightsaber fight.
Stop it. If we had like that kind of money from this podcast, we would have already
do a
done
bit
that.
like that.
On the black sand beach. Oh my God, would have been amazing.
Have you seen some of the National Geographic videos coming out of Iceland right now? The new volcano
Not recently.
eruption. Oh man, there's one where this guy like has a drone and he's flying it through the eruption, and some of the magma just shoots up into the air and melts the drone props as it's flying through. And you hear it go as it's trying to go back through.
Wow.
The shot's amazing. The GoPro gets all of it. But yeah, his drone.
So is he sacrificing the drone to the fire gods to get the footage and then it's transmitting it back to him? That's amazing.
Yeah, well, he recovered it too. He got the GoPro back.
Oh, he did get it. Okay.
Yeah, it just melted some of the props on the drone.
Wow. That's
cool.
Insane.
Yeah, it was neat. Anyways.
Did you see the guy on TikTok who was at Lake Como which is where they filmed the Naboo scenes in Italy?
Oh no.
And he went down on one knee and he said, I know what I have to do, but I'm too afraid to do it. And he gets down on one knee to his girlfriend and she's
Yeah.
like, oh, and then he pulls a lightsaber from behind his back and he's like this in front of her and they start playing the sad music. It's hysterical. She was so mad at him because she thought he was proposing.
Holy crap, that's so good. I want to go there. I didn't know it was in Italy.
Yeah, it's Lake Como. It's one of the
I
most
wanna
beautiful
go
places in the
there.
world.
Well,
Yeah, that's
I'm
where
gonna go
Naboo
there.
is.
All right, time to go to Naboo.
I figured that's on the bucket list. We have to go there. We have to go to
I'm not taking
the
you. I'm
desert.
taking
Which
Amy
desert
there.
is it? Is it Morocco?
Oh, yeah, for Tatooine. Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
Morocco.
Yeah. We got to go to Morocco. So we got places to go.
Oh, this
Things
is
to
really
see.
pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is gorgeous. I want to
Oh,
go
yeah.
here. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's beautiful.
gosh.
It's no joke, dude.
Wow. This is a lake.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I could.
Yeah.
Wow. It looks just like Naboo.
Yeah. Because it is. It is Naboo.
It's so cool. Wow.
That is the Naboo.
It's so pretty. All right, chat. You're gonna have to get us there. Kevin, how can they support Star Wars
did
and
it.
Scotch?
Son of a bitch.
Sorry.
I don't
Kevin's gonna
smoke.
be dead. Kevin's gonna be dead by the end of this.
I don't smoke.
podcast.
I promise. I don't even with my medical marijuana. I don't smoke it. I take it every other way. Only me. Only
Oh,
me.
man. So what else is going on with Star Wars? Oh, I've been listening to Shadows of the Sith.
And
Very good.
where are we at in the book?
So we are at the point where Lor Santeca and Luke are on an adventure to
Yes.
find more antiquities.
Did they find the
and-
one antiquity yet?
They found a broken Sith holocron, and then this guy dug up a what seems to be broken Kyber crystal.
That's the part I was going for.
Yeah. So that's where we're at right now. And it's very good. I love this like going back to Exegol vision stuff.
Mhm.
Very neat. Also, there's who's the it's not a Chiss, the who's this girl that is being possessed?
Pantoran.
Yeah, she's a Pantoran. I was like Plutonian. I was like, that's wrong. Yeah, the Pantoran. So that's very interesting that we have a Pantoran character.
Did you get to the part you read? You did the reading for yet?
Not
with
yet.
Luke?
I would assume that's going to be the next part that happens.
You're very close then.
Because
if
I
you
was
didn't
like,
get
there was
to
a
it.
couple parts where I was like, "Ooh, is this it?" And it wasn't there yet. So I was
Oh, no,
assuming
you'll
it's the
know when
next
it is.
division. Yeah. Also, I love Lando in this.
Oh, he's great.
He's amazing. I love he's
Yeah.
doing that. He's like he was counting cards at the sabacc table. That was so good. Very
Yep.
very good. Also, I
Um,
feel terrible for Dio.
Yeah.
Ochi
Well, yeah,
is a dick.
that's why Dio acts the way he does in
Yeah,
episode
that's
9.
why his PTSD is from Ochi.
Poor little guy. Ochi's such a dick. I hate his
Well-
voice.
Yeah, and I love how like the whole backstory with Exegol and stuff is really cool. Also, it explains. Okay, so they're trying to like explain how they were building these Star Destroyers with planet killer weapons that were like it was happening during episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Hmm.
So I don't know how I feel about that. It was like they already had the technology for the Death Star was this massive weapon that they built not once but twice. But in the middle of building all of this, they were also building Star Destroyers that had planet killer weapons.
Let me help you. So the Death Star at the end of the day, that was Krennic's project that Tarkin stole from him, and they had most of the control with it. Obviously, Palpatine could do whatever he wanted with it. Let's say there was a galactic civil war again, and Grand Moff Tarkin decided he wanted to try and take over the galaxy and turn the Death Star on Palpatine. Palpatine would be like, bitch, look at my world-destroying armada now. You're dead.
He wouldn't do it.
Palpatine or Tarkin?
Tarkin wouldn't do it.
Oh, no, I don't think so. But you think Palpatine... No one in the Empire trusts each other. We've established that
I wonder if
numerous
he was
times.
doing well. So I mean, I guess that is definitely a part of like his inability to trust anyone. He's very paranoid. As most
Palpatine's-
as most fascist leaders are extremely paranoid that their people will turn on them. And Vader was already in the middle of doing that. He was building up his own droid army to fight Palpatine. So I mean, I guess like the thought of him building another army on Exegol, but then like They talk about them stealing kids, and so that was a part of the whole First Order thing. So I don't know. I'm still kind of like, I feel like they're trying to like fill in the gaps that were created in episode 7 and it's 7, 8, 9 by like with this story, which I'm all for. But at the same time, it's still kind of like, really, you were able to like spare all these other people and all these resources aside from the stuff that you were already using to then make more. And this was way more than what we were expecting.
Well, this was more Sith and less Empire, so this was the cult.
They were Imperial Star Destroyers. They were Star Destroyers. I don't know. I still like the whole idea of it being the Starforge. Like that theory to me still made way more sense.
It can still be.
It can be, but well, not really. No, because they're talking about how there was the crews of just like drones, essentially, of these like Sith minions that were just building these ships. At least that's what it says in the book, right? It talks about how these like they were there on Exegol building these ships for the Emperor or the Sith Eternal. I love that they keep on calling him the Sith Eternal as well. It's very cool.
Did you get to the part where they're talking to Ochi?
Which part about which like
when Ochi first?
That's way before you like get to like where I'm at now.
Yeah, how they just appear and then disappear.
Yeah, that's really neat.
In space.
Also, I love how they talk about like the healing properties of Exegol and stuff. Like that's the whole thing of like if he can get back to Exegol, like he can restore himself, and it's very interesting. I love Dathan's introduction, like what he's been like how like they like what he was doing on Exegol that whole time. Essentially, he was kind of just like surviving.
Yep.
On his own because what did they call them? He was a why was he spared?
I forget.
Whatever. So he was a clone that wasn't like corrupt or like it actually worked kind of. So they let him live.
Yeah, because he wasn't like deformed or dead, and so he got to live as his son.
Yeah, but I really like where this book is going. It's really fun. Like every chapter is just they keep on just like raising the bar just a little bit. So you're just like, oh, I want a little bit more. Just a little dopamine hit. It's fantastic. The author, I forget his name. He does a great job.
We need to answer him on Twitter, see if he wants to join us after you finish the book, because he did tweet at us saying glad you're enjoying it. So
yes,
we got to answer him.
I'm having a great time. I'm getting like I think I can get through like two chapters a cardio session. Like they go by pretty quickly.
It's one of those long ones though, like that High Republic one that had like 85 chapters. It's like one of those. It's not like Thrawn.
So there's a bunch of just tiny little chapters.
Yeah, it's not like Thrawn with the 45-minute chapters.
Yeah. Okay, that's why I'm like, man, I'm just blowing through this.
Yeah, no, it's a little different. I can't talk to you about it yet. There's so much that has to happen. You haven't even met certain characters. All right, we'll continue Tim's progress through the book each week and keep tracking it. So that's I'm glad you're enjoying it though. It's only going to get better from here. It's one of those books that has no lag, in my opinion. It just keeps going and going and going and going, and then it hits a point where it's like you get your payoff. So yeah, enjoy the ride.
I will.
We're 35 days from Andor.
That's crazy, dude.
Nerdfest actually started on Sunday because House of the Dragon episode 1 dropped. 10 million people watched it.
Really?
Begrudgingly, because all of us were like, I'm never watching a Game of Thrones episode ever again. And then 10 million people watched House of the Dragon. So,
you know what's crazy is that all those people bought, they re-upped their subscription to HBO Max while HBO Max is like gutting their library and was getting ready to merge the Discovery and like all this stuff.
I don't know why HBO Max doesn't do well. They have the best offering out of any other streaming service out there, easily. The only thing that they lost recently was Harry Potter. That was a big hit for them. But aside from that, I think they still have the best library out of anything out there. So I don't know. But yeah, House of Dragon debuted. I like the new format of it. They're copying what Disney and the rest do, where it's live on HBO at 9, but you can also start streaming it after 9 Eastern. So Danielle and I started at like 9:04 at our pace, and paused it for a bathroom break and stuff. But
that's so good though. That's what I love about being able to watch stuff in your house.
Yep. No, I enjoyed the first episode. They had a cool lore drop in there that apparently Martin added specifically to the show that was not in the books. That everyone now believes they might retcon the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones and redo them because of what was said in this episode. It would make sense, actually. It's very wild and crazy. But anyway, Nerdfest has begun. We're already getting articles like, will Game of Thrones win out against Andor and Rings of Power? I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up and just watch all 3.
Yeah, because there can only be one.
No, there can be more than one. Absolutely. I can't. I keep seeing these articles. I'm like, the other shows haven't even aired yet. Like, give it a break. I hate journalism like that. It's just so annoying.
That's where we are, Kevin. It's all just clickbait.
Yeah, and I didn't click it. I just scrolled past because I was like, you will never get my click. Because it pops up in my Google News feed when I read it in the morning.
Yes, as you're scrolling through.
Yeah, so you don't actually have to click. But yeah, I think that's so stupid. Like, why can't I enjoy all 3 and be like, they were all 3 great? It's like, no, which one did you like best?
That's the thing. Which one do you like the most, Kevin?
I don't know. Like, sure. Are you sure? Lord of the Rings is not a one-to-one.
Yeah, it's a great time to be a nerd, to enjoy just like nerd culture, like Lord of the Rings.
There has never been a better time.
It's amazing.
In my lifetime to be a nerd, ever, because you have your choice of video games is insane. Like I don't like the new stuff. I want stuff with systems. Cool, go play an older game. I'm all about the new graphic. Cool, go play a newer game. All of the things that we grew up reading are now being put onto screen as major motion pictures and shows and things like that. Star Wars is fleshing out a universe beyond the movies. Like, it's the best time ever to be a nerd. And what is it met with? Everyone fucking complaining all the time. It's infuriating. Infuriating.
It's like that in the Star Wars fandom too. You know, like you can't enjoy certain parts. You know,
I was reading a thread in the coffee house, your community the other day.
Yeah.
And it was the Star Wars versus Star Trek thread. Did you read that one?
No, I did not.
It's not bad. No, they were all like super nice. I just found it interesting that all the Trekkies were basically saying like, we don't have these problems in our fandom. Like they don't act like this in our fandom. I don't know Star Trek, so I'm speaking from a completely ignorant place.
I've never heard someone go like, "Oh man, Next Generation's so much better than Deep Space Nine. Fuck you if you like Voyager." You know, it's just like people don't, because it's just like it's one continuous story telling the story of humanity trying to survive its trip through the universe.
Right.
Like that's the beauty of Star Trek, and it's also the beauty of Star Wars as well. Is like it's good versus evil. It's the same way in Star Trek. Like Star Trek is the Federation versus like all of these bad things. It's all about all these different aliens and coming together and fighting, for the good of the universe. It is weird. It is really strange that there's an elitism in Star Wars, and I don't feel like you really. Yeah, I think that's true. You really don't see that in Star Trek.
Well, in most fandoms, it stems from the book readers. If it was a book first, so your Dunes, your Game of Thrones, or A Song of Ice and Fire. Sorry, book readers. And your Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth. It all stems from the folks that are like, well, I read the book and they don't leave that artistic representation as it goes to the screen open. So I'm reading The Hobbit with Hunter. I just listened to it on Audible too as well. And what I'm noticing is there are things in those books that never made into movies, or things they expanded upon using ancillary content in the movies, or things they just fucking made up as well. I will 100% admit that. They're not great movies, but they're still fun in my opinion. My big thing is not everything you read on a page is going to translate well to a screen. And people don't always they don't do that. Even you say with the Star Wars books, like the novelization of the movies, that you got more
so much better than the movies,
but you get more out of it. But a lot of those things, in my opinion, wouldn't make it to the screen because there's no way to
you would make someone fall asleep. Like the average viewer doesn't give a flying rat's ass about these little details that, like, when you go and watch Harry Potter, great example. Go and read the Harry Potter book and then go watch the movie. There is so much stuff that is taken out because it just doesn't make sense within the 2 hours and so ever many minutes you have to tell a story. That's why I think the streaming videos do way better job than the movies. Like these TV shows, these whatever you want to call them now, these streaming episodes of shows, they do a far better job because they have the time. They have the ability to take a deep breath and explain someone's story within an episode, and it makes sense in the larger picture because you're dealing with 6 to 8 hours of storytelling versus 2. So I think that's also another thing. Could you imagine if we had a Harry Potter, like if it was seasons, if every season was a book, that would be so much better because you'd have the time to explain all of these things. You'd have like one episode could just be about one little part of the book.
And we're starting to see that now. Like Wheel of Time was the first one to come out and do that. But even then, the Wheel of Time fans were like, you skipped too much. You skipped too much. You skipped too much. So even then, and then the rumor, because Netflix, I think 3 or 4 years ago, bought the rights to Narnia. The rumor is that each book is going to be a season.
Yeah.
So it'll be a 7-season
That's the best
series.
way to do it. Oh, and that series is phenomenal.
Oh, it's amazing. But
so
like,
good.
You know that people are going to be like, well, you left this minute detail.
I think at the end of the day, you've got to take the book in one hand or whatever, the novelization in one hand and the movie in the other, and you can't really let them cross. You have to enjoy them for what they both are. And they're just forms of entertainment, because if you go and read a book, or if you went and watched the movie, but you never did the inverse of it, you would enjoy that story to its fullest because that's all you know.
Right.
And it's like, that's the frustrating part is like, I feel like as I got older, I started to recognize that more, because I got really upset about that with Harry Potter as a kid, because I read all the books and then I went and watched the movies. And I'm just like, oh man, they left my favorite part out. They left this thing out that I really liked. And as I got older, I started to realize like, yes, like it's not going to be a 1-to-1 because it took me so many hours. It took me so many days to get through this book. How could they do it in a movie?
One of the interesting things to that point from House of the Dragon, and this is also the difference between the person that created the world and the story being involved in the production, which we also heard from George R. R. Martin this week that he was not involved in the last few seasons of the show, which is painfully evident. You haven't watched it yet, right?
Not yet.
So you've seen the pictures, though, of the black guy with the white dreads, the gray hair.
Yes.
Okay, so that's Lord Corlys Velaryon. Love him. In the books, he's white. In this, he's black, and his house is made. Children, everything, they're black. The racists come out from under their rocks and crawl out, and they're like, "Ah, ah." Do you know who made the decision to make him black in the show? Who do you think? George R. R. fucking Martin, the guy that wrote the damn story. So you're going to tell that guy that in his live adaptation of the world he built in his head, he is not allowed to change the way a character looks. Sounds like elitism to me.
That's crazy, dude. When you're just like, I know more about this than you do.
It's like, it's from his head. That would be like you telling... No. That would be like what Freddie Prince's rant about the Force and George Lucas and Dave Filoni, like the people that say like, no, this is how the Force works, and Dave is like, no, this is how the Force works because George told me.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, and that is the part of fandoms that I they drive me insane. Tim.
I mean, like it's frustrating because there's a weird thing with fandom where it's like you get to a point where it's like you really start to fall in love with something. You know, you really start to like take it on. You're like you love everything about it. You want to learn as much as you can about it. And I feel like there's like this fine line where you can kind of tread where you're just like you're a super fan and then you're a psychopath. You know, it's just like, and it's really thin. Like you kind of have to tiptoe on it because you're just like, I really, really freaking love this, and you're like, oh, it's real. Nothing. No, I'm the only person who knows everything about it. Like I really despise seeing that happen to people who are like super fans, where they kind of just like they get full of themselves and then just like, oh, like you're not. Oh, and you don't. I feel like we see it all the time as like with video games and as streamers. You know, we see fans of like of your content. You know, great example. If someone who's a fan of your content, like, oh, I love when you play all these different types of games. Then you play one game and they're just like, they become fixated on it. And then you switch and you're like, where's this game? And you're like, dude, whoa, you led Variety like 2 months ago. What's going on?
Or the first day you play the game, and they're like, "I guess you're playing this now." Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's the toxicity that I can't get over, and the idea that you know better.
Yep.
And it's okay not to like something. You and I talk about how we don't like things all the time in Star Wars, but
Yeah.
I'm not turning it. I hate Episode 1 and 2. They're terrible movies. Aside from Duel of the Fates, they're horrible movies. Tim doesn't agree. That's fine. This is my opinion. I
Oh,
don't like those two movies. They're not
I'm
good.
agreeing with you, Kevin. None of those.
Every time I watch through the franchise, I sit down and watch both movies because they're part of the story.
Yeah. No, I
And
agree
I
with
don't
you.
care. I will listen to Anakin whine and moan the entire time. I'm glad Hayden came back and redeemed himself. It actually made me very happy. And he can play Vader for as long as he wants to, in my opinion. That is the way I feel that most people should react to things they don't like in their fandoms. Paul put it in our chat here, the internal dialogue in Dune. Like Paul Atreides talks to himself throughout the entire book. It's in the older movie too. But in the new one, they didn't go that route. And people, people are like, oh, the internal dialogue. And I'm like, the movie was a cinematic masterpiece. And you're going to split hairs on little things like that? The story was told. It drives me nuts that people won't let someone interpret their version of the story and bring it to life and won't just enjoy it for what it is. And if you don't want to enjoy it for what it is, don't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, like
That's it.
we're seeing that across the board. I think when it comes to even like video games and shows and movies, it's just like everyone wants it their way, and you can't make everybody happy. And that's the one thing too is like when it comes to people who are developing the games or developing the shows for these fans, how far do you swing of listening to the fan base and kind of taking your own direction? Because like I feel like sometimes people are afraid to go their own direction now because of the backlash, because of how vocal people can be on social media, on TikTok, on YouTube, and they can be very, very loud about the things they don't like. And it might be a few people, but those few people can be very, very loud and disrupt. And so, do you think people are too afraid to get creative because they're creative with these stories because they're afraid of the backlash?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't play Destiny anymore, but the announcements for Destiny yesterday, I was in Ben's chat watching everyone get really excited and
Yeah.
happy. And, I joked, Bianchi was in there, and I joked when they announced their matchmaking for raids. I was like, they finally listened to me. And he said, Kevin is Bungie. And I said, you say that to me in Palpatine's voice, Bianchi. And he said, how do you know I didn't? But just little things like that. Like, I don't play the game anymore, but I'm really happy that all my friends are so excited to jump into this new content. Hell, maybe I will give it another spin. You never know. So be happy for other people when like things happen. If you don't like it, just don't watch it. Shut up. Like, I don't care about your opinion on Twitter. That's all I'm saying.
My opinion.
I don't care about your opinion on Twitter. I really don't, especially if it's negative. If it's good, great, let's talk. If you have constructive criticism and you want to talk about like something in Star Wars that you and I have disagreed on things in Star Wars before, then great, let's have a conversation. Let's get a beer and just shoot the shit or be on stream, whatever it may be. But like, don't sit there and just shit all over something somebody else likes. Like, it's just not cool. So, speaking of shitting on things people like, we had heard a few weeks ago that the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake was on hold.
Yeah.
But Jason Schreier reported this week that it is getting moved to a new studio, and that's in Bloomberg, where Jason writes. Saber Interactive's one of Saber Interactive's Eastern European studios. Now, both devs are owned by Embracer Group. Embracer Group is going around the gaming industry now buying everything.
Great.
They just bought all the gaming IP rights to Lord of the Rings. They're involved with Star Wars now. There's a whole bunch of stuff they just bought. I want to be excited about this, but now I'm worried.
Yeah, okay. So here are some of Saber Interactive studios. So you've got Saber, 3D Realms, 4A Games, Aspire. So Aspire was the studio that was working on this. You also have Slipgate, you have Zen Studios, Tripwire, Sandbox Strategies. So like none of these studios to me scream, man, we got this. Some of the games that have come out from Saber, Evil Dead the game, which actually is okay. It's not bad. It's a pretty fun game if you really like the Evil Dead universe. Space Marines 2, World War Z Aftermath, Snow Runner. So a couple of these games that have been, kind of hits. Some of these games are kind of taken off a little bit. Nothing like big, but they've done okay. I just don't feel confident enough for them to be able to take this game that has been developed at one studio, so a labor of love by X amount of people for 3 years. You take all of that work, things that people know inside and out, and you take it away from them, and you send it off to another studio that hasn't touched it yet. I mean, we don't even know how much they've put their hands on it. So now they've got to go back and learn at least some of this stuff to then go forward. I'm really, really worried about this game. I don't want to play it at this point.
Yeah. So, Paul saying Microsoft, Sony, Embracer is a Microsoft, Sony sized group that has a bunch of dev houses. Yeah. So again, that is for clarification. Thank you, Paul. They are basically the way Sony and Microsoft have a bunch of studios under their wing. Embracer has
they're just a big publisher.
Yeah.
But going through some of these studios that they have these developers that are under their umbrella, they're just not a lot of large like they're not big names that stand out. Like, oh yeah, I played that one game that these guys did and it was super awesome.
Granted, Aspire was not a big name either when they were developing it, but they were working on all of the not the remakes, the
Star Wars
remasters.
Republic Commando. They have
Kotor
done
2.
Civ, Sim, Kotor. They've done a bunch of indie games. So they've done a decent. They have a decent catalog, and like you said, they did all these ports and stuff. So like they have that Star Wars culture kind of like already there.
Right. It just worries me to see what this is going to be at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to lose faith in the idea that this is going to be everything we predicted, and that this might be, graphically improved, and that might be it.
Yeah, because so Aspire, Knights of the Republic, Knights of the Republic 2, Force Unleashed, Myth Force, Star Wars Republic Commando, Star Wars Racer. So like they already had a bunch of Star Wars games under their belt that they were pushing out. Is it going to be? I don't think it's going to be a reskin of the port they just pushed out what was it, last year?
Yeah.
So like I don't think they're gonna do that. I feel like that would piss off more people than it would anything else.
It's being touted and sold to us as a remake. In the vein that Final Fantasy and some of these other games.
And if they don't deliver something to Resident Evil or to Final Fantasy 7, people are gonna riot.
I agree. And I will be one of those people because
I don't think Lucas Games would let that happen.
I hope not. I hope they're smarter than that. But my point is this, and it was similar with Lord of the Rings. And I'll make the connection in a second, but Star Wars games do not have a good track record. They don't. In general, Jedi Fallen Order was one of the only games in recent memory to pop off without a hitch. Battlefront fixed their shit, but that original stuff was garbage.
Squadrons was decent.
Squadrons was good, but it was almost like a B indie game.
Yeah, it wasn't amazing. But it was sold as a $40 game. It had a really
and that's what it was, and it was
a $40 game. It had a fun single player, and if you had joysticks and a VR helmet, then holy crap, that was quite the experience.
But is that what this is going to be? Is this another $40 Star Wars game? That's where my head is at.
Not. If it is, man, people are gonna burn something down because it's way more than a $40 game.
People are building it up, including me, in their minds to be on the level of Jedi Fallen Order when it comes to like the grandiose.
If it's not like a Final Fantasy 7 experience, I'm gonna be pissed.
So at the end of the day, they don't have a great tracker because someone said like, who was it? Weta Workshop is signing on with what's the studio?
Who's that?
Weta Workshop is the one that made all the props and makeup and everything for the original Lord of the Rings movies, Rings of Power, The Hobbit, and they did the Warcraft movie. They've done a ton of movies. So the reason the orcs look the way they do, that's Weta Workshop.
Gotcha.
So they signed on to make a game with, I forget, Private Division. And someone sent me the article, and I was like, look, I want to be excited, but Lord of the Rings games have a horrendous track record of getting canceled. And the fact that the Gollum game is the only one that's coming out in like makes me furious. And then they go Shadow War and Shadow Mortar, great games. Let's be honest, it's not like the Lord of the Rings experience we've all been looking for.
No, that was more like Assassin's Creed in Lord of the Rings.
Right, and I'm literally playing through Shadow War right now. It's so much fun, but that is not like the authentic Middle Earth experience that people want. We want an open world RPG.
Yeah, the last time I remember playing a really good Lord of the Rings video game was the Two Towers.
Return of the King and Two Towers.
Two Towers on the PlayStation.
God, the games are phenomenal.
Dude, the the Helm Deep is, oh my God, that battle is so much fun.
Yeah,
So
and the
good.
music's playing. The ladders are coming up. You're trying to push the ladders off. Remember, you could choose to play as Aragorn, Gimli, or Legolas. Yeah, so that was my point, though, is like, Lord of the Rings, you have a terrible track record with games.
Yep.
Like, the White Council was supposed to be the open world RPG developed by EA for Middle Earth, and it got canceled. And I will never forgive them for that, because that was touted to me as like, that was like Skyrim in Middle Earth, which is all I've ever wanted to do. This is what bugs me, is it comes down to this, is like, so many people would buy your stupid open world RPG game if you just made it. Look at Jedi Fallen Order. It's the perfect example. Everyone said single player. Remember the CEO EA was like, single player games are dead. It's about multiplayer, da da da. And then he got flamed. And then later that year, his publishing company put out Jedi Fallen Order, and it sold more units than like they knew what to do with. Proving that single player RPGs in the right setting are probably some of the most profitable games. It's the profitability of going back to the well that they don't like from those games.
Yeah.
And that's why they like the multiplayer games, because they can prop up stuff. Everyone wants the next Fortnite. Everyone wants it, because Fortnite's like, still, even though they're not the top of directors, still swimming in cash,
Still
because
crushing it, dude.
the fact that they revolve that store every 36 hours, just like, all right, here's a bunch of new skins.
I've spent so much money in the past 72 hours on Fortnite. It's dumb. I bought the Battle Pass. I bought the Dragon Ball skins. I paid the extra money to get the 25 extra levels, because I was already at like 40 something. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll go to 80. And there I was. Like, it was so easy. And I felt okay doing it. I was like, oh yeah, I've spent decent amount of time in Fortnite. Like, I might as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's everyone wants that, but that single player RPG experience, that need to create that quality game, that single player RPG Star Wars experience that we all want, where we go from planet to planet. They're like, oh well, you can play the MMO. Yeah, but no, I want the the graphical improvements.
Exactly.
I want all of the other stuff.
I want the fluidity of it.
Right. We all want the next Skyrim experience, because everyone remembers the first time they played Skyrim or Morrowind. Maybe it's Morrowind for you.
It was Morrowind.
Morrowind changed my life. I didn't know a
Xbox.
video game could do that.
Yep.
Literally changed my life. I had no idea that was I could pick my person, be that person, and explore this world with no boundaries.
Yep.
None. Zero. Zilch.
There was a map. I remember taking the insert out of the Xbox jewel case, and it was a full map, and I had it pinned up on my wall to figure out where.
Because that's how you got around.
That's how I got around, because I had to follow the map.
Just like a real adventurer.
Yep.
And that art is lost. That is the one thing that we've lost with games, is we've made things like that a little bit too easy and accessible. And the money gets dumped into things that they can rinse, repeat, recycle, and, just generate cash with, instead of a quality experience. I'm not saying every developer and every publisher out there thinks this way, but the majority do now, when back then everyone was trying to make the next Morrowind or the next Oblivion. It's, I hope that this is what they originally sold us. Yeah. Which is a complete remake, a revamp, new combat system, and everything. I hope it is just not a reskinned pile of shit.
I mean, like, how much did they actually promise us when they announced it, other than just giving us the trailer? Did they really, did they give us any big promises for what this
Not
thing
any
was gonna
huge
deliver?
promises, no. But
I'm just
if
trying to
you
make
go
sure
back,
that they didn't like set our expectations, and then we're just gonna get divisioned.
if you go back and play that, play the old game, the first thing you're going to say is, well, the combat system needs to be rehauled. Like they can't just dump that combat system in.
Yeah.
And then again, if you compare it to Final Fantasy VII, you can
Right.
do it the old way or you can do it the new way. You can
Mm-hmm.
choose, and that should be what we're getting, you know.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of these are the expectations I build up myself and others, and message boards, and we collaborate. But at some point, if you say you're remaking a game, not remastering, it sets a level of expectation. And that's my point. You know, when Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 came out, those were remakes.
Right.
Like I went into the warehouse, and the way my mind registered the graphics when I was a kid was what I was seeing on the screen.
Yeah.
Because you go back and look at old games, you're like, this didn't look like this when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
man. It seems like our brains definitely filled in a lot of the gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember games looking a lot different when I was a kid.
I played one of the old God of Wars a few months ago, and I was like, no, it didn't look like this back then. No, it looked so much better. Kratos was like a god with a six-pack ab, not a
Could you
pixelated
imagine
mess.
going back and playing like Need for Speed? Like those cars look so real to me, man. I bet you if I go back and look at it now, like
Terrible.
What was that? Most Wanted or whatever, like Underground. You know, you could do the neon lights. I bet you it was just purple, just beams, just bars.
Even I played Empire at War, the Star Wars RTS game.
Yeah.
I was looking at it, I'm like, no, it didn't look like this. This is not how I remember it. Like,
all
it looked
just
so much
blocky
better.
pixels.
I lived on that damn game.
Was there more detail in it than I remember?
Oh my God. Yeah. Same with Battle for Middle Earth, too. That game, those two games ruled summers for me. My mom was like, go outside and play with your friends. And I'm like,
Video games, Mom.
I am currently sieging Mordor, so you need to give me like 20 minutes. So yeah, they didn't look like that. And
Yeah.
it's one thing to improve the graphics, but in this sense, you sold me on a remake, not a remaster.
Right.
A remaster's fine. I played the Republic Commando remaster. Wonderful. Great memories. I'm glad they cleaned it up. Same with
The
Kotor
controls
2.
still like really blocky.
Oh, it's horrible.
Okay.
But the memories and the nostalgia that you get from it, you don't care after a while.
Sure.
This was sold to me as a remake, and that's what I'm expecting,
you
and
were
that's what
getting-
all of us are
yeah.
expecting. Exactly. So, one last thing, Tim, I'll let you talk about the lightsaber blaster before we get out of here
I don't understand why
today.
this showed up on Star Wars news, but go ahead, Kevin.
Jedi turns lightsaber into blaster. Darth Vader comic number 10 by Charles Soule and Giuseppe. Oh God, Kamikoli, Gabagool.
What?
Darth Vader is battling a Jedi master named Master Nu, who does the unthinkable in an effort to defeat the Dark Lord once and for all. Master Nu inserts her lightsaber into the chamber of a high-tech rifle that harnesses the energy of the kyber crystal into a long-range blaster. Unfortunately, this blaster uses up the lightsaber's power incredibly quickly, leaving the hilt as nothing but a melted and utterly useless reflection of what it once was. Basically, while the blaster packs a punch unlike any other in the galaxy, it is only really good for a few immensely strong blasts. Go ahead, Tim.
I mean, that's it. I don't know why that showed up in news because so the whole idea of like using a kyber crystal for a weapon is not new. I mean, like that's the Death Star. That's how the Death Star works. Is that they went and
Ezra
harvested
does
a
it.
bunch. Yeah, and like that's how Starkiller Base works because it's essentially just Ilum is a massive kyber crystal at that point, and they harvested and turned it into a weapon. So
Ezra's
the idea,
lightsaber.
yeah, Ezra's lightsaber is another great example of like he has a blaster built into it, so he can go back and forth. So like this is nothing new, but like the idea of being able to like this machine that was made to meld with a Jedi weapon is very interesting because we see that in High Republic. Like that's how the Jedi communicated with their technology, is that there was this bridge between them and the machine, and it was the Force. And so like there was this Force connection, and don't they put their isn't their lightsaber essentially like the ignition key? They put it in there, and it forms in with their kyber crystal. It's another like power source. So like none of this is like new, but it is very, very cool that they're starting to expand on this more. The idea of like having these machines that meld with kybers or that utilize the kyber energy and can weaponize it. So it actually would be really cool for them to really build upon that, and maybe we'll even see that in a visual adaptation for shows. Like the idea of, that's something I could totally see it happening in like the Ahsoka show. them
Yeah.
utilizing a lightsaber or something like that, as a weapon. What I mean, Ezra, the idea of them finding Ezra, like, what if Ezra is just out there just making freaking force weapons? You have no idea.
If you think about it, if you think about it like this, I'm trying to think about it like adapting it to a live adaptation. Somebody's lightsaber would have to break to do it, obviously, from what we see. If you do it on the fly instead of making something like Ezra did. But like you said in Ahsoka, we could see Ezra's literally lightsaber in action with the blaster built in.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of like some action scene where it's like this desperate moment and they have to get a shot across to something that's gonna, and someone like shoves their lightsaber in just like that. But I'm trying to think. I'm thinking like High Republic Acolyte would probably be, because everyone's lightsabers in our current era are kind of like set. We can't really destroy any of them because lightsabers are a pretty big deal. But I could see it
Yes.
happening in like High Republic or something,
You
some
can
sort of
buy-
adaptation
You can
there.
go and buy Ezra's lightsaber in Target. Just walking down the Star Wars aisle, and you actually like Ezra's blasters there, and you can get it. It's cool.
Give you?
Yeah, I just thought that was neat. Just like seeing it in real. I mean, it's like plastic and stuff, but
Is it one of the fold out ones that you have to do?
yeah,
this
yeah,
with?
it is. Yeah, but it's just like the idea. It has like the hand guard on it, so it's like for him to hold it, and it looks really big and clunky. It's just like it's not very elegant. It looks like it does on Rebels, where it's just like it's not this elegant weapon that you come to know and love for all of these other Jedi. It's practical. He needed it to be multi-purpose, like a Swiss Army knife.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, and he made it on the fly in the ship, so I mean, it would make sense how that happened. But
God, I'm so ready for Ahsoka.
you got a little ways to go there,
I
but
know.
you got
I
Mandalorian.
just really hope Andor I hope it just satisfies me. But I really hope it just fills that little void that I have right now.
So Tim, what are you're doing a lot of space magic for the rest of the week, right?
Yeah, well, we're gonna do some Destiny. We got some Fortnite. Yeah, probably a little Tarkov.
Are you doing the Destiny skins in Fortnite?
Yeah, I'll be doing. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, yeah. So if you're out there and you're hanging out, make sure you go to fb.gg/darkness429 to check out some of the new Destiny stuff that Tim's going to be playing. Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry, not Lord of the Rings. Our Middle Earth Rings of Power D&D adventure starts in just a few weeks. We're very excited to launch that. 2 folks have been announced as part of the campaign. Well,
You were
3.
one of those.
Captain Robert will be our DM. Christy Pride from the You Have My Sword podcast, who is one of the funniest people on the internet when it comes to Lord of the Rings stuff, will be joining us. And myself, I don't know why Paul said our resident Tolkien scholar, because that's going to get me in trouble. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. So I have feeling people are going to come for me, especially when I
It's
start.
said on the internet, so it is true now.
Okay. Yeah.
All right,
People are going to
Dr.
come for
Kevin.
me when I start pronouncing places wrong. So, but I've already started watching YouTube videos to refresh my memory about the Second Age and things. So,
yes, of course.
yeah, I have to be.
I want to
mentally
get you need to come in with like a pipe and a jacket on.
I have a pipe. It's made from camel bone. I got it in Turkey on my honeymoon.
Ooh.
And I got it because it has a lion carved in it. And we were talking about Narnia earlier. Narnia is one of my favorite universes. And it looks like Aslan on the thing. It's decorative in my house, but I could probably,
Probably good, yeah.
put some.
Just don't smoke anything out of it because your lungs.
No, I do bubbles and just blow bubbles the entire time. Make sure you check out everything Tim's working on. Darkness429 all over the internet. And again, fb.gg/darkness429, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m.-ish Eastern. I'm Kevin. You can chat with me on Instagram, KMagic101, Kevin X Vision on Twitter. Hold on, I got a cough. And everything else I do is on raredrop.co. I got to go take my inhaler. You have a good one. Tim, take us out.
May the force be with you.